The champagne flute shattered against the marble floor of the Grand Hyatt's ballroom like a gunshot in a confessional, silencing the laughter of aunts and uncles mid-toast. Jason's hand trembled as he stared at the shards glinting under the chandeliers, his sister's beaming face across the table blurring through the hot sting of unshed tears, because there, at the altar just hours ago, Owen Hargrove had slipped a ring on her finger, the same Owen who'd once cornered Jason in the high school locker room and sneered, "Faggot like you doesn't deserve to breathe the same air." And now, as the string quartet struck up their first dance, Jason wondered if karma was just another word for hell. But Owen's eyes found his across the crowded dance floor, not with the old venom, but with something sharper, a plea, raw and unspoken, that twisted Jason's gut like a knife. The family clapped as Emily swayed in her husband's arms, oblivious to the storm brewing in her brother's chest. And Jason bolted for the balcony doors, the cool San Francisco night air hitting him like a slap, because loving your sister's husband, even from the shadows of a decade-old betrayal, was the kind of secret that could burn a family to the ground. Jason gripped the wrought iron railing of the hotel balcony, the fog rolling in off the bay like a shroud, muffling the distant hum of cable cars climbing Nob Hill. Below, the city lights twinkled like scattered diamonds on black velvet. San Francisco, the city that had promised reinvention after the suffocating suburbs of Sacramento. He'd come back for this wedding, told himself it was for Emily, his baby sister, the one who'd always defended him with her fierce little fists when the neighborhood kids called him sissy. But deep down, he knew it was a lie. It was for Owen. Always for Owen. 10 years. That's how long it had been since that godforsaken senior prank week at Rio Vista High. Jason had been 17, all gangly limbs and quiet dreams. The kid who sketched poetry in the margins of his biology notebook instead of chasing touchdowns. Owen Hargrove was the golden boy quarterback, homecoming king, with a smile that could charm the devil and eyes like storm clouds over the delta. They'd been unlikely friends once, thrown together in Mr. Landry's AP Lit class, bonding over Kerouac and late-night drives to the levees where the river whispered secrets to the stars. Jason had fallen first, hard and stupid, confessing in a fumbling rush one humid August evening, heart hammering like a trapped bird. Owen's laugh had been a blade. "Dude, what the fuck? You think I'm like you?" The words echoed now, as they had then, laced with that performative bromachismo, the kind small-town jocks wielded like shields. But it was the mockery that followed the locker room ambush, the slurs scrawled on Jason's truck in the parking lot, the way Owen's crew had made Jason's last semester a gauntlet of whispers and shoves, that shattered him. Jason had fled to the city after graduation, burying the pain in art school at SF State, then a string of anonymous hookups in the Castro, each one a numb echo of what he'd lost. Or thought he'd lost. Emily's engagement announcement had hit like a sucker punch 6 months ago. Owen Hargrove? From high school, Jason had choked out over the phone, his voice thin as rice paper. She'd gushed about how they'd reconnected at a mutual friend's barbecue in the wine country, how Owen had changed, divorced from some college fling, sober now, building custom bikes in a garage in Oakland. "He's good for me, Jace. Steady. And he asks about you all the time." Jason had forced a laugh, but it curdled in his throat. Asked about him? What? Like a footnote? A regret? Now, here they were, in this glittering cage of tulle and twinkling lights. Emily radiant in her lace gown, Owen in a tailored tux that hugged his broad shoulders like it was sewn on. Jason had arrived that morning, Suitcases heavy with more than clothes, old sketchbooks, dog-eared copies of On the Road, a bottle of bourbon he'd sworn off but kept for emergencies. The rehearsal dinner had been a minefield. Owen's firm handshake, too lingering. His toast that lingered on second chances, with a glance Jason's way that felt like a brand. Emily, bless her, had pulled Jason aside in the bridal suite. Her veil askew, makeup flawless. "You okay, big bro? You look like you saw a ghost." "I'm fine," he'd lied, adjusting her train. "Just allergies. Bay fog does a number on me." She'd hugged him tight, smelling of jasmine and hope, and Jason had vowed to play the part. Supportive brother. Not the broken boy still nursing a scar. But as the reception swirled on without him, Jason's phone buzzed in his pocket. A text from his best friend. "Marco, back in the mission. Dude, you surviving the straight wedding apocalypse? Send pics of the cake. And bail if the ex-bully starts mansplaining football." Jason snorted, thumbs hovering over a reply, when the balcony door creaked open behind him. "Jason." Owen's voice was low, gravelly from years of cigarettes he swore he'd quit, carrying that faint delta drawl that always made Jason's pulse stutter. He didn't turn. "Go back to your bride, Hargrove. Dance is waiting." A pause, the kind that stretched like taffy. Footsteps, deliberate, until Owen was beside him, elbows on the rail, tie loosened like a noose half-slipped. Close. The years had etched lines around his eyes, silver threading his temples, manhood's quiet rebellion. He smelled of cedar cologne and something sharper, like regret distilled. "Can't. Not without saying this first." Owen exhaled, breath fogging the chill air. "I'm sorry. For everything. The locker room, the truck, all of it. I was a scared shitless kid. Jason." Hiding behind bullshit because he trailed off, staring at the bridge lights winking in the distance. Jason whipped around, heat flooding his cheeks. "Because what? You were straight as an arrow. King of the hetero hill? Save the apology tour for Emily's family therapist. I don't need your pity party on her big day." Owen's jaw clenched, that old fire flickering. "It wasn't pity then, and it ain't now. I was terrified. Of you. Of what you made me feel." The words hung there, heavy as lead, and Jason's world tilted. "What the hell does that mean?" His voice cracked, betraying him. Owen met his gaze, unflinching. "It means I kissed you back that night on the levee. For 3 seconds, before I panicked and shoved you away. It means I've spent a decade running from it. From you because admitting it would have torched everything I knew. My dad, the team, this whole fucked up facade." Jason's breath caught, memories crashing like waves. The humid air, Owen's hand tentative on his neck, the brush of lips that tasted like stolen beer and possibility. Then the push, the laugh, the erasure. You kissed me? Yeah." Owen's voice was a whisper now, raw edges fraying. "And I've hated myself for ruining it ever since. When Emily told me you were coming, I almost called it off. But then I thought maybe this is my shot. To make it right." The door swung open again, Emily's laughter spilling out like sunlight. "Owen? Jace? Where'd you two run off to? It's time for the bouquet toss." She appeared in the doorway, glowing, arm linked with her maid of honor, oblivious to the chasm yawning at her feet. Owen straightened, mask slipping back on. "Coming, babe." He shot Jason one last look, pleading, electric, before vanishing inside. Jason stayed rooted, heart pounding against his ribs like a caged animal. The fog thickened, swallowing the city, and for the first time in years, he wondered if second chances were a gift or a grenade. Inside, the reception pulsed with life. Uncle Ray belting out an off-key rendition of Sweet Caroline at the karaoke setup. Cousins snapping selfies with the ice sculpture of intertwined swans. Jason slipped back in, grabbing a fresh flute of bubbly to steady his nerves. Marco's text lit up again. Emergency extraction? I'm in the Uber. But Jason pocketed the phone. Not yet. He found a corner table, half hidden by a topiary of orchids, and nursed his drink, watching Emily twirl under the lights. She was 25, fierce as ever veterinarian in training, with a laugh that could disarm a grizzly. Marrying Owen made sense on paper. Both loved the outdoors, shared a dry wit, built lives from the ashes of their Sacramento roots. But now, with Owen's confession echoing, felt like sabotage. A shadow fell over him. Mind if I join the brooding artist? It was Alex, Emily's college roommate turned best man. Tall, lanky, with wire-rimmed glasses and a bow-tie askew. The kind of guy who quoted Vonnegut at parties. Jason forced a grin. Only if you promise not to psychoanalyze me. I'm fresh out of breakthroughs. Alex chuckled, sliding into the seat with a plate of sliders. Deal. Though you do look like you could use a slider. Or therapy. Whichever's greasier. They fell into easy banter, Alex's job as a graphic novelist. Jason's freelance gigs illustrating book covers for indie presses. It was a distraction, light and flirtatious, the way Alex's knee brushed his under the table, lingering just a beat too long. You ever think about settling down? Alex asked, popping a cherry tomato, juice staining his fingers red. Jason's eyes flicked to the dance floor, where Owen and Emily swayed to some old Springsteen tune. Not my style. Too many ghosts in the closet. Alex leaned in, voice dropping. Ghosts can be exorcised, especially with the right incantation. His hand grazed Jason's wrist, warm and intentional, sending a spark up his arm. For a moment, it was tempting, simple, uncomplicated, a wedding fling to wash away the past. But then Owen caught his eye again, mid-laugh with Emily's dad, and the spark guttered. Jason pulled back, polite smile cracking. Rain check? I need air. He fled to the coat check this time, splashing water on his face in the marble bathroom, staring at his reflection. Dark curls tamed for once, hazel eyes shadowed with exhaustion. 30 damn years old, and still unraveling over a high school crush. Pathetic. The night wore on in a haze of cake-cutting and garter tosses, Jason orbiting the edges like a satellite gone rogue. Emily found him during the slow dances, pulling him onto the floor for a sibling sway. You sure you're okay? You've been weird all weekend. Just happy for you. He spun her gently, her skirt flaring like a parachute. Owens. Lucky, she beamed, then sobered. He is. But I know there's history. He told me some of it, the bullying crap. Said he was a dick and regrets it. That's why I wanted you here. Closure. You know? Jason's throat tightened. Yeah. Closure. As the DJ called for the groom's speech, Emily kissed his cheek and darted off. Jason claimed a spot at the back, heart thudding. Owen ascended the small stage, microphone gleaming, the room hushing to a reverent murmur. He looked every inch the conquering hero until he began. Emily, from the moment we reconnected, you saw the man I wanted to be, not the boy I was ashamed of. His voice was steady, but his eyes scanned the crowd, landing on Jason like a heat-seeking missile. And family, y'all have welcomed me with open arms, even when I didn't deserve it. Especially you, Jason. A ripple of confusion. Jason froze, champagne turning to ash in his mouth. Owen swallowed hard, grip whitening on the mic. See, 10 years ago, I hurt someone in this room deeper than I can ever apologize for. I mocked him, pushed him away, because I was too damn cowardly to face what he stirred in me. Jason McAllister isn't just Emily's brother, he's the brave one. The one who owned his truth when I couldn't. Gasps rippled through the tables. Emily's hand flew to her mouth, bouquet trembling. Owen's gaze held Jason's, fierce and unyielding. I proposed to Emily thinking it was safe, a way to build something real without the risk. But standing here, I realize it's a lie. The man I love, the one I've always loved, is you, Jason. And I can't marry your sister knowing that. The room erupted shouts, sobs, chairs scraping back. Emily staggered, caught by her maid of honor, face crumpling like wet paper. Owen dropped the mic with a thud, stepping off the stage, path clearing as if by divine parting. He stopped before Jason, hand extended, voice breaking. I'm sorry. For all of it. But mostly, for not saying this sooner. Jason's world narrowed to that hand, calloused from wrenches and wrenches of fate, and the man behind it, stripped bare. Betrayal hung thick as smoke, but beneath it, something purer, possibility, fragile as fog. He took the hand. You just blew up my sister's life. You idiot. Owen's laugh was half-sob. Yeah. But maybe we can rebuild ours. The family surged forward, Uncle Ray red-faced, Emily wailing, but Jason pulled Owen toward the exit, the night air beckoning like forgiveness. Behind them, chaos reigned, but ahead, the bridge lights promised a crossing. The valet fetched Owen's truck, a battered Ford F-150 with custom rims that purred like a contented beast. As Jason and Owen stumbled into the portico, the reception's din fading to a muffled roar. Paparazzi weren't exactly swarming a middle-class wedding in the financial district, but Jason half expected TMZ drones to materialize from the fog. Emily's cries echoed in his skull, a siren's wail of shattered vows, and guilt clawed at his chest like a feral cat. Keys, Jason muttered, snatching them from Owen's fumbling grip. He slid behind the wheel, the leather seat warm from disuse, dashboard glowing with the faint scent of motor oil and pine air freshener. Owen climbed in shotgun, head thunking back against the rest, Tuck's jacket discarded in a heap. Where to? Owen asked, voice hoarse, staring at the glove box like it held absolution. Jason revved the engine, tires crunching gravel as they peeled onto Market Street. Anywhere but here. You've got about 5 minutes before the family cavalry rides in with pitchforks. Traffic was a snarl even at midnight, Ubers honking, late-night revelers spilling from dive bars, but the city cocooned them in its indifferent hum. Jason wove toward the Embarcadero, the bay's dark expanse unrolling like a velvet ribbon. Silence stretched, taut as a bowstring, broken only by Owen's ragged breaths. I didn't plan that, Owen said finally, rubbing his face. The speech. It just poured out. Seeing you there, in that suit, laughing with Alex. Fuck. I thought I'd lost my shot forever. Jason's knuckles whitened on the wheel. Alex was a distraction. You're a goddamn wrecking ball. He glanced over. Owen's profile etched in sodium lamplight. Strong nose. Stubble shadowing that jaw Jason had once traced in fevered dreams. What about Emily? You think words fix this? She planned a life with you. Kids. The picket fence in the burbs. Owen winced. I know. God. I know. I love her. Like a sister. Maybe. Or the safety net I clung to. But it's not the same. Never was. He shifted. Knee bouncing. After the divorce, I dated women. Tried the script. But every time, I'd end up at 2 a.m., scrolling your Insta, wondering what if. When Emily and I got together, felt easy. Familiar. Until she showed me your latest exhibit flyer, those portraits at the De Young. All raw emotion and light. Hit me like a freight train. Jason snorted. Bitter. So I'm your muse now? Convenient. But his voice lacked venom. The Levy kiss replayed in loops. Owen's mouth soft. Hesitant. Tasting of summer's edge. Had it been real? Or just two boys fumbling in the dark? They parked at a deserted pier. Waves slapping pilings like impatient applause. Jason killed the engine. The sudden quiet amplifying their breaths. Owen twisted toward him. Eyes searching. It was real. Jace. That kiss. Every goddamn second. I bolted because my old man would have skinned me alive. Hell, he still might. Hearing about tonight. But I can't run anymore. Jason leaned back. Head against the window. The glass cool on his neck. You already did. For 10 years. Do you know what that did? I came out to Mom and Dad at 18. Alone. Because you'd made me feel like poison. Therapy. Marco dragging me to pride parades. Building walls so high I forgot how to let anyone in. And now you waltz back. Torch my sister's heart. And expect. What? Happily ever after. Owen reached across the console. Hand hovering before settling on Jason's thigh. Light. Tentative. Electric. Not expect. Hope. If you'll let me earn it. The touch ignited something primal. A spark to dry tinder. Jason covered Owen's hand with his own. Thumb tracing knuckles scarred from shop floors and bar fights. You're an asshole. Hargrove. Yeah. Owen's grin was crooked. Boyish. But I'm your asshole? They laughed. The sound brittle but genuine. Shattering the tension. Jason leaned in first. Or maybe Owen did. It blurred in the heat. And their lips met. Not the fumbling of youths but the collision of survivors. Owen's mouth was warm. Tasting of cake frosting and salt. His free hand cupping Jason's jaw with a reverence that bordered on worship. Jason melted into it. Fingers threading Owen's hair. Pulling him closer until the console bit into his ribs. When they broke, gasping, Owen rested his forehead against Jason's. I've dreamed this 1,000 times. Better than porn. Worse than torture. Jason chuckled. Breathless. Flatterer. But we're not out of the woods. Emily. Owen's phone exploded with notifications. Texts. Voicemails. A frantic call from his mother. He silenced it. Jaw set. Tomorrow. We'll face it together. But tonight, let me show you I'm all in. They drove in charged quiet to Owen's loft in the dogpatch. Exposed brick. welding tools scattered like modern art, a king bed piled with flannel sheets overlooking the shipyards. Clothes shed in a trail from door to mattress, urgent but unhurried, bodies mapping old hurts and new promises. Owen's hands were everywhere, tracing Jason's collarbone, the dip of his waist, whispering apologies into skin. Jason arched under him, nails raking Owen's back, claiming what had been denied. It was messy, profound, sweat-slicked limbs tangling, breaths sinking like forgotten rhythms. Climax hit in waves. Owen's name a mantra on Jason's lips. Owen shuddering with Jason's gasped, "I forgive you," buried in his neck. After, they lay entwined, city pulse thrumming through the walls. Owen traced lazy circles on Jason's chest. "Remember that road trip we planned? Jack Kerouac style. Thumb out to Big Sur," Jason hummed, sated. "Yeah. You bailed for football camp." "Not anymore." Owen propped on an elbow. I soft. "After this mess clears, let's do it. No scripts, no hiding. Just us, chasing the horizon. Tempting. Terrifying." Jason pulled him down for a slow kiss, savoring the peace before dawn's reckoning. Sleep came fitful, dreams laced with levees and wedding veils. Morning cracked gray and unforgiving, coffee brewing as Owen's phone lit up again. Emily's text, "We need to talk. All of us." Coffee shop on Haight. 10 a.m. Jason's stomach knotted reading it over Owen's shoulder. The cafe was a Haight-Ashbury relic, mismatched chairs, Bob Dylan posters peeling at the edges, the air thick with espresso and patchouli. Emily arrived first, eyes puffy but chin high, flanked by her parents. Jason's mom, Linda, a retired nurse with steel gray hair and a hug like armor, enveloped him first. "Oh, honey. What a night." His dad, Tom, clapped Owen's shoulder harder than necessary. "Son, you got some splainin' to do." They claimed a corner booth, steam rising from mugs like peace offerings. Emily spoke first, voice steady despite the tremor. I replayed the speech 100 times on the drive home. Part of me wants to hate you both, for lying, for the humiliation. But mostly, I'm just sad. For the future I imagined. Owen reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. You're the best thing that's happened to me in years. This wasn't about you not being enough. It was me being too broken to see straight." Linda squeezed Jason's knee under the table. "We've known Jason was gay since he was knee-high, bringing home those little drawings of boys holding hands. And Owen, we've watched you grow into a fine man, mistakes and all. But family, we bend. We don't break." Tom grunted, stirring sugar with ferocity. "Long as no one's getting hitched without truth on the table next time." Emily managed a watery smile. "Agreed. And Jace, I'm glad it's you. He talks about you like you're the son has since our first date. I just didn't see it." Relief washed over Jason, mingled with ache. "I love you. More than words." The talk stretched, tears, laughter, promises of therapy and time. By noon, hugs exchanged. Emily stood. "Take care of him, Owen. Or I'll neuter you myself." Laughter followed her out, lighter than before. Owen and Jason walked the Haight in companionable quiet, panhandlers strumming guitars, head shops hawking tie-dye dreams. "That went better than I deserved," Owen admitted, lacing fingers with Jason's public, unapologetic. Jason squeezed back. Humanity's got a soft spot for redemption arcs, but doubt lingered, a shadow at noon. What if Owen bolted again? What if the town whispers followed? That afternoon, they holed up in the loft, Owen teaching Jason to weld, a scrap metal heart for the windowsill, sparks flying like fireworks. Dinner was takeout burritos on the fire escape, watching tankers glide under the Bay Bridge. Night fell soft, lovemaking slower, exploratory, Owen's mouth charting Jason's thighs, Jason's hands learning the freckles on Owen's shoulders. "You're mine now," Owen murmured against his hip, and Jason believed it, if only for the moment. But betrayal's echo wasn't silenced so easily. A week later, back in Sacramento for the family debrief, Owen's father cornered them in the driveway, barbecue smoke curling from the backyard, bud in hand. "Heard about your little show." "Boy," his eyes bored into Owen. Then Jason, lip curling. "Ain't no place for that in this family." Owen squared up, arm around Jason's waist. "Then it's your loss, Dad. We're building our own." The door slammed behind them as they drove off, but the cut stung. In the cab of the truck, Jason traced the new heart pendant Owen wore, welded steel, warm from his chest. "Worth it," Owen kissed his knuckles. Every scar, yet cracks spiderwebbed. Owen's ex, Tara, surfaced via email bitter, demanding alimony tweaks, dredging up Owen's confused phase in college. Jason read it over his shoulder one night, paranoia blooming. Was I just another phase? Owen's denial was fierce, making love on the kitchen floor, bodies slick with olive oil from dinner prep, but seeds of doubt took root. Fall crept in on crisp gusts from the Sierras, turning the Delta gold as Owen and Jason settled into a rhythm that felt dangerously like home. Owen's garage in Oakland thrummed with clients, Harley rebuilds for tech bros, custom choppers for weekend warriors, while Jason's illustrations poured out in bursts, fueled by morning coffee and Owen's lazy kisses. Weekends were theirs, hikes in Muir Woods, where redwoods whispered approval, or lazy Sundays at the ferry building market, sampling oysters and trading stories of what-ifs. But the wedding's fallout lingered like smoke after a bonfire. Emily threw herself into rotations at UC Davis Vet School, her text to Jason a mix of snark and sisterly wisdom. "Tell your grease monkey I'm stealing his truck for a joyride. Need to feel badass." She even set them up for a double date with her new fling, a soft-spoken equine surgeon named Riley, at a queer-friendly winery in Napa. The evening unfolded like a rom-com, Riley's dry humor meshing with Owen's, Emily's foot nudging Jason's under the table, the sunset painting vines in fire. "You're glowing," Emily whispered as they clinked glasses, Cabernet deep as secrets. Jason glanced at Owen, laughing at some story about Riley's botched vasectomy consult, and felt it contentment, solid as oak. Yeah. He makes it easy. Yet beneath the ease, fissures widened. Owen's phone buzzed more than usual, late-night calls from old buddies, his mood swinging like a pendulum. One night, after a gallery opening where Jason's portraits hung under spotlights, they fought over nothing. A misplaced wrench, Owen snapping, "Can't you just let me breathe?" Jason recoiled, old wounds flaring. "Breathing? That's what you called ghosting me for a decade? Or bailing on plans because your work emergency smells like cologne?" Owen's face crumpled. "It's not fuck, Jace. It's the shop. Bills piling up. Tara's lawyer circling like a vulture. I don't want you worrying," but worry festered. Jason threw himself into work, sketching feverishly nudes of Owen, all sinew and shadow, vulnerability etched in every line. Marco noticed at their weekly beers in the Castro. Spill, artiste. You look like you swallowed a lemon. Jason nursed his IPA. Bar drag queens lip-syncing Gaga behind him. Owen's pulling away. Little things, texts he deletes. Showers that run too long. Feels like high school rerun. Minus the slurs. Marco leaned in. Eyeliner sharp as his advice. Talk to him, dummy. Before it festers into Greek tragedy. The confrontation came on a rainy Tuesday. Thunder rumbling over the bay as Jason waited in the loft. Thai delivery cooling on the counter. Owen burst in soaked. Hair plastered. Eyes wild. Sorry. Traffic from the bridge. Bullshit. Jason stood. Arms crossed. You're seeing her, aren't you, Tara? Or someone. Testing the straight waters again because this. He gestured between them. Voice cracking. Scares the shit out of you. Owen froze. Water pooling at his boots. Tara? Christ. No. This is my brother, Kyle. He's in deep with some loan sharks, gambling debts from Reno. Begged me to front cash. Said it'd be one job. But now they're leaning on him. And he wants me to drive a package. Nothing heavy. Just across the state line. Jason's stomach dropped. Drugs? Owen. That's not drugs. Booze. Maybe smokes. Smuggling shit to dodge taxes. Owen paced. Hands raking hair. One run. Jace. Pays off, Kyle. Keeps the family off my back. Dad's already calling me the family disgrace. Can't add this. Betrayal twisted fresh. Not romantic but visceral. Owen choosing shadows over light again. And me? I'm what? The side quest? You drop this now. After everything. Owen stopped. Desperation etching his face. I didn't want to drag you in. You're clean. Jace art. Dreams. The good stuff. This is my mess. Your mess is our mess. Jason stepped close. Rain scent mingling with fear. Or it was. Until you shut me out. They collided then, not in anger, but need. Owen's wet shirt clinging as Jason yanked him close. Kisses bruising. Hands desperate. It was reclamation. Bodies slamming against the wall. Owen lifting Jason with ease. Legs rapping as they stumbled to the bed. Rain lashed windows like applause. Owen's thrusts deep and apologetic. Jason's cries muffled in the pillow. Don't leave me, Jason gasped. Climax shattering him. Owen following with a guttural never. Panting in afterglow. Owen confessed the rest. Kyle's calls escalating. Veiled threats. The pull of old loyalties. One run, he repeated, like a prayer. Then clean, against his gut. Jason nodded. Together. No secrets. The one run stretched to 3. Nights Owen vanished into the Central Valley's dust. Returning hollow-eyed. Cash tucked in the mattress. Jason paced the loft. Sketching horrors. Owen in cuffs. Family gravesides. Emily sensed it during a girls' night, sibling night at her apartment. Vegan tacos and bad rom-coms. He's spiraling, she said, pausing the flick. Owen's always chased redemption like it's a high. Mom told me about Kyle, bad seed. But blood. Jason toyed with a chip. I thought we were building something. Now it's quicksand. Emily hugged him. Fierce. Fight for it. But know when to let go. You deserve sun. Not storms. The storm broke on a frost-laced December dawn. Owen's truck roared into the alley at 4 a.m., headlights slicing fog. Jason bolted downstairs in sweats, heart seizing at the sight. Owen slumped over the wheel, blood trickling from a gash on his forehead. Kyle's panicked form in the passenger seat. What the fuck happened? Jason yanked the door, hands shaking as he checked Owen's pulse. Steady. Thank God. Ambush, Kyle slurred, whiskey on his breath. Deal went south, cops. Rivals. Owen took a pipe to the head, saving my ass. Owen stirred, groaning. Jace. Get him out. Told you. Shut up. Jason hauled Kyle inside, dialing 911 while staunching Owen's wound with a shop rag. Paramedics swarmed, sirens wailing into the neighborhood's sleep, neighbors peeking from curtains. At the ER, under harsh fluorescence, Owen stitched up, came clean to the cops. Partial truth. Enough to skate on self-defense but fry Kyle for the smuggling ring. Dawn bled pink over the skyline as Jason sat vigil, Owen's hand limp in his. I almost lost you, Jason whispered, tears hot. Owen's eyes fluttered open, hazy with painkillers. Worth it. You're my North Star, Jace. Always were. Discharge brought them home to quiet. Kyle bailed to county lockup. Owen sidelined with concussion protocols. Holidays loomed. Thanksgiving at Emily's. A tense truce with parents. Turkey carved under Linda's watchful eye. Boys, she said, passing mash. Life's too short for half measures. Love loud. Owen squeezed Jason's thigh under the table. A vow. Christmas Eve. They drove to the levee full circle, truck idling as stars pricked the ink-black sky. Owen pulled a small box from his pocket. Not a ring, but a keychain heart, welded finer than the first. To the road trip. Big sir. Whenever you're ready. Jason's chest ached with hope. January. Pinky swear. They made love in the truck bed. Blankets cocooning against chill. Slow and sacred. Owen's body a map Jason knew by heart. Whispers of forever mingling with the river's song. But January brought blizzards, stranding them in the city. Owen's shop boomed with custom orders. Jason's agent landing a book deal for his portraits. Life normalized, but shadows clung. Owen's nightmares, waking sweat-drenched, muttering Kyle's name. Jason held him through them, but resentment simmered. You chose this. The breaking point cracked open on Valentine's. Owen late from a client meet in the valley. Jason waited with candles and paella, wine turning to vinegar. Midnight brought Owen, disheveled, eyes evading. Kyle's out on bail. Showed up at the shop, begging for a loan. I said no. But, Jason's voice was ice. Owen deflated. Gave him gas money. $50. That's it. $50 to your felon brother who nearly got you killed? Jason laughed. Hollow. We're poison, Owen. You can't quit the script. Owen's temper flared. And you're what? Saint Jason. Above it all? You think your artsy life fixes everything? I need you. Not judgment. Words escalated, weapons of the wounded, until Owen stormed out, door slamming like gunshot. Jason sank to the floor, sobs racking, the heart keychain glinting accusingly. Dawn found him sketching furiously, their faces fractured, love's fault lines exposed. He texted Marco, crash space? The mission apartment smelled of sage and takeout. Marco brewing tea like a ritual. Spit it. Jason poured the run, the fight, the fear. I love him, but it's drowning me. Marco nodded, wise beyond his years. Love's not a lifeboat. It's the ocean. Swim or sink. Emily called mid-morning, voice urgent. Owen's at the shop, drunk off his ass. Dad bailed him out of a bar tab, says he's spiraling like after the divorce. Jason's heart lurched. I'm going. The garage was a tomb, tool silent. Owen slumped on a stool, whiskey bottle half empty. Go away, Jace. I'm toxic. Jason knelt, prying the bottle free. Then we're both toxic. But I choose us. Owen's sob broke free, collapsing into Jason's arms. I can't lose you. Not after. You won't. Jason held him, rocking like a child. Therapy. For both. And Kyle? No contact. Boundaries. Hargrove. Owen nodded, tear-streaked. Promise. Spring unfurled tentative counseling sessions in a No Valley office. Owen unpacking daddy issues. Jason airing resentments. Dates recommitted. Picnics in Golden Gate Park. Owen's head in Jason's lap as kites danced overhead. Sex reignited. Playful. Owen in nothing but an apron. Flipping pancakes. Jason tackling him to the counter amid laughter and syrup. Emily's wedding redo. A small commitment ceremony with Riley in June, under Delta Oak's sealed healing. She walked the aisle barefoot, Riley beaming, and in the vows, she winked at Jason. To loving without chains, Owen whispered during the dance. Breath warm on Jason's ear. Marry me? Someday. When it's right. Jason's yes was a breath, a beginning. But summer storms brew slow. August heat wave. Owen's shop hit with a lawsuit, Tara claiming emotional distress from his sudden queerness. Court dates loomed, stress etching Owen gaunt. Jason sketched through nights, but inspiration waned, colors bleeding gray. One sweltering eve, Owen came home early, face ashen. Read this. He thrust a letter. Kyle. From prison. Confessing to tipping rivals for a cut. Framing Owen as the fall guy. He sold me out. My own blood. Rage. Grief. Owen shattered a wrench against the wall. Shards flying. Jason pulled him down, holding through the tempest. We're stronger than blood. That night, they drove to the levee again. Stars indifferent witnesses. Owen's hand in Jason's. They talked till dawn. Forgiveness not for Kyle, but themselves. I choose you, Owen said, kissing Jason under the moon. River lapping approval. Fall returned. Leaves turning. Their love tempered like steel. Jason's book launched to quiet acclaim. Portraits of queer resilience. Owen's shop thrived. A pride flag fluttering from the rafters. Thanksgiving circled back. Table fuller, Marco. Alex now a friend. No more. Emily and Riley expecting. Toasts rang. To mended hearts. To horizons. As snow dusted the Sierras, Jason and Owen packed for Big Sur. Tent. Sketchpad. Welded hearts. The road unspooled. Kerouac's ghost grinning. In a cliffside cove, waves crashing, Owen knelt, not with a ring, but words, you're my road, Jace. Forever. Jason pulled him up, kissing salt from lips. Drive on, cowboy. Big Sur's coastline clawed at the sky like a lover's nails. Rugged cliffs plunging into turquoise fury. Highway 1 twisting like a dare. Jason gripped the wheel of the rented Jeep. Wind whipping through open windows, Owen's playlist blasting the replacements over the roar. They'd left the city at dawn, San Francisco shrinking to a hazy memory, the road ahead a promise etched in asphalt and pine. "Pull over here," Owen yelled over the gusts, pointing to a turnout where Pfeiffer Beach's purple sands beckoned. They hiked down, boots crunching, the keyhole arch framing ocean's endless blue. Owen spread a blanket, unpacking sandwiches and a thermos of spiked cider, his smile boyish against the wild. "Remember our pact?" Jason teased, leaning back on elbows, salt air tangy on his tongue. "No cell service. No bullshit. Just us and the void." Owen's grin faltered. Just a flicker. Scout's honor. But his eyes darted to the horizon, as if chasing ghosts. The days blurred into idle. Bonfires where Jason sketched Owen's silhouette against flames, embers like fireflies, midnight swims, bodies buoyant in phosphorescent waves, laughter echoing off rocks. Nights in the tent were sacrament, Owen's hands reverent, mapping Jason's freckles like constellations, whispers of mine blending with cricket choruses. Jason felt anchored, the levee scar fading to a faint line. Yet on the third morning, as mist clung to redwoods, Owen's phone, buried in the glove box for emergencies, chirped once, twice. He silenced it, but Jason caught the name Dad. "Told you. No service," Jason said lightly, zipping his hoodie against chill. Owen shrugged. "Too casual. Must be a fluke. Let's hit McWay Falls. Chase that Instagram moment." The falls were magic. Waterfall veiling a hidden cove. But Owen paced the overlook. Jaw tight. Jason pressed. "Spit it." "We're past secrets." Owen exhaled, fogging air. Voicemail from home. "Dad's sick prostate. Aggressive. Kyle's out. Playing caregiver. But it's bullshit. Wants me back for family time." Jason's gut twisted. "And I told him no. We're good here." But doubt shadowed Owen's eyes, the pull of blood like undertow. They drove in quiet, tension coiling. That night, around the fire, Owen cracked open, stories of boyhood fishing trips, Dad's gruff pride in his touchdowns, the unspoken shame of weakness. "He called me once, after the wedding fiasco. Said I was throwing away a good woman for confusion. But yesterday, proud of you, son. Make it count. First time in years." Jason poked the flames, sparks rising. "It's okay to go back. Doesn't mean regressing." Owen's nod was reluctant. "Yeah. But what if it does?" The drive home was contemplative, Big Sur's wilds yielding to suburbia's grid. Owen's phone stayed silent, but the call came at Bakersfield. Linda, voice quavering. "Your father's asking for you, Owen." Tests aren't good. They detoured east, Sacramento's flatlands swallowing them. The Hargrove home was a ranch-style relic, faded siding, lawn dotted with lawn darts from Owen's youth. Inside, hospital bed in the living room, monitors beeping like accusatory ticks. Mr. Hargrove, Hank, lay diminished, once broad frame shrunken, eyes milky but sharp. "'Bout time. Boy." His handshake was limp, but grip lingered on Jason's. "Heard you two made it official. City's treating you right." Owen perched on the bed's edge, voice thick. "Yeah, Dad. Shop's busy. Jace's book's selling. We're solid." Hank's gaze flicked between them, praising. Good. Life's short. Don't waste it hiding. Cough racked him. Kyle appearing with water. Sullen in a wife-beater. Tattoos snaking arms. Brother. Kyle's nod was curt. No apology in it. Owen stiffened. Kyle. Jason hovered. Outsider in this tableau of fractured men. Dinner was strained. Pot roast from a neighbor. Linda's Jell-O salad a bright spot. Hank dominated talk. War stories from Nam. Regrets over missed games. Should have said it sooner. Owen. You're a man. Not me. Tears pricked Owen's eyes. Love you, Dad. Hank waved it off. Save it for him. Chin jerk to Jason. Nights in Owen's old room. Twin bed creaking. Posters of Nolan Ryan curling at edges. Were tender. Bodies fitting like puzzle pieces in cramped space. Thank you, Owen murmured, tracing Jason's spine. For this, Jason kissed his temple. Family's family. Yours too. Hank rallied for a week. Barbecue in the yard. Hank in a wheelchair, regaling with tales while Kyle sulked on the porch. Then decline, hospice whispers, morphine haze. Owen and Jason tag-teamed, nights at the house, days at the shop via video. Emily visited, bringing Riley and stories of foals. Marco mailed Queer Lit. For the old man to broaden horizons. The end came swift. Hank coding in the night, Owen at his side, Jason in the hall with Kyle, who finally broke. I fucked up, man. The runs, the tip-off, jealousy, stupidity. Dad knew, forgave me. You, Owen emerged, face carved hollow, and pulled Kyle into a bear hug. Yeah. But no more shadows. Funeral was Methodist. Small. Delta kin in flannel. Eulogies heavy with stoic and provider. Owen spoke last. Voice steady. Dad taught me strength's not in hiding pain, but facing it. With love. His hand found Jason's in the pew. Anchor. After. At the graveside. Hank's brother clapped Owen's back. Shop's yours if you want it. Legacy. Owen glanced at Jason. Ours. Grief settled like dust. The drive west a blur of motels and memories. Oakland welcomed them, loft lights on. Marco with pizza and Rocky Horror cued. To Hank, they toasted. Tears salting slices. Winter hardened. Owen throwing into work. Restoring a 72 Norton. Chrome gleaming like hope. Jason's book tour kicked off. Readings in Portland. Panels in LA. Crowds hungry for stories of queer becoming. It's him, Jason told a Seattle audience. Slide of Owen's portrait glowing. My muse. My mirror. Fame's whisper brought opportunities. A Netflix doc on LGBTQ+ artists. Gallery solo in Chelsea. Owen beamed at the news. But envy flickered. Living the dream. Babe. Jason pulled him close. Our dream. Cracks reemerged subtle. Owen's late nights at the shop. Claiming custom deadline. Jason's absences for signings. A fight brewed over Easter. Jason in New York. Owen solo in Sacramento for Kyle's parole hearing. Texts escalated. Miss you, but Kyle needs me. And I don't? Reunion was fire, airport kiss devolving to cab backseat. Hands frantic. But words lingered. We're drifting, Jason admitted post-climax. Sheets tangled. Owen traced his jaw. Then tie the knot. Anchor us. Proposal came casual. Over diner hash browns in the Mission. Owen sliding a ring across Formica. Simple band of recycled gold. Engraved Levio 5. Marry me, Jace. Make it legal. Messy. Ours. Jason's yes was whoop loud. Diner applauding. Emily squealed via FaceTime. Vegas? Or Delta elopement? Planning ignited joy. Invitations letterpressed with road motifs. Vows penned in Jason's script. Bachelor party was Castro crawl, Marco stripping to share. Owen tipsy on Cosmos. Jason's heart full. Wedding dawned golden. July heat baking the Delta airstrip where they'd land vintage biplanes for photos. Guests sparse but fierce. Emily maid of honor. Riley best man. Marco officiant in sequins. Under levee oaks. Owen in linen suit. Jason in vintage tux. They vowed. In storms and sun. I choose you. Rings exchanged. Kiss ceiling, crowd whooping as they dipped low. Reception was picnic style. Fried catfish. Bourbon barrels. Band playing at last. Dances blurred. Owen twirling Jason. Emily cutting in with "Don't fuck this up. Bro." Honeymoon was Route 66 Redux, Chicago blues bars. Grand Canyon sunrises. Motels with neon buzz. Lovemaking in every state line. Bodies celebrating union. Back home. Wedded bliss hummed. Joint shop sign Hargrove and McAllister Customs. Jason's studio overlooking the bay. But life's undercurrents stirred. Kyle's job hunt. Tara's settlement dragging. Owen sponsored a queer youth art program. Jason welding his first bike frame. Sparks of pride. Anniversary first. Levee picnic. Same spot. Owen blindfolded Jason. Leading to a surprise, custom chopper parked. Heart emblem on tank. Our ride. Jason straddled it. Owen behind. To forever? Throttle open. Yet autumn winds whispered change. Jason's doc premiered at Sundance. Acclaim. Offers flooding. Owen's shop hit a lull. Economy dipping. Proud, he said, but eyes shadowed. A call from LA. Pilot script. Jason as consultant. 6 months? We can handle. Owen's smile strained. Yeah. Go shine. Distance nod. Texts loving. Calls clipped. Jason partied with creatives. Owen's voicemails laced with fatigue. Marco warned, don't let success eclipse. Return brought reckoning. Owen distant. Kyle crashing sporadically. He's clean, Owen insisted. But Jason smelled relapse, booze on breath. Eyes red. Confrontation exploded. You're enabling him again. A second to your savior complex. Owen's roar. And you're Hollywood now? Too good for this. Words like shrapnel, selfish. Lost. Done. Jason stormed to Marco's. Ring heavy on finger. Dawn texts. Sorry. Therapy. Sessions raw. Owen admitting codependency roots in Hank's death. Jason owning ambition's blinders. Recommitment. Date nights mandatory. Kyle boundaries firm. Winter solstice. They renewed under mistletoe. Slow dance in the loft. Owen's I love you a bomb. Spring bloomed resilient. Jason turning down LA for a Bay commission. Owen hiring a queer apprentice. Pride Month. They marched hand in hand. Rainbow flags snapping. But July heat revived old heat. Tara's appeal denied. But Kyle's slip. Petty theft. Owen bailing him out. Last time, Owen swore. Jason believed until August. A package arrived. Kyle's letter. Confessing love for Owen. Twisted fraternal to romantic. The run's a ploy to pull him back. He's poison, Jason whispered, showing Owen. Owen burned it in the sink. Flames dancing. Not us. Never. They sought couples retreat, Big Sur again. Cliffs healing. There. Under stars. Owen knelt anew. Renew? With boundaries. Jason's yes was fierce. Love's forge unyielding. Years folded like origami, sharp creases of trial. Soft curves of triumph. By 35, Jason's name graced gallery walls from MoMA to Mocha. His book a staple in queer-lit syllabi. Portraits capturing the unspoken aches of coming out. Owen's shop evolved. Hargrove McAllister Motors. A haven for custom builds and community workshops. Teaching at-risk youth to weld their rage into art. Their loft expanded to a fixer-upper in Bernal Heights, Victorian with bay windows, a studio garden where Jason grew tomatoes, Owen hung hammocks. Emily and Riley's wedding gift arrived twinside. Boy and girl, Delta named Delta and Rio. Jason and Owen godparents doting with sketchbooks and tiny helmets. Family mended. Linda's Sunday suppers. Tom's gruff, love ya. Boys. Kyle distant but sober. Therapy his lifeline. Anniversaries marked milestones. 5th. A tattoo, matching Levy coordinates inked on ribs. 10th. Vow renewal on the road Vegas drive-through chapel. Marco as witness. Elvis drawl sealing it. But love's not linear. It loops, tests endurance. 40. Owen's shoulder blew out, decades wrenching, a rotator cuff tear sidelining him. Bills mounted, insurance a joke, Owen pacing like a caged wolf. Can't sit idle. Jace. Shop needs me. Jason balanced commissions with caregiving. Soups simmered, pillows fluffed, but resentment simmered too. You're more than your hands, Owen. Let me carry. Owen's laugh was bitter. Easy for the star to say. Fights flared. Owen lashing at pity. Jason retreating to sketches dark as midnight. Marco mediated over brunches. You're both warriors. Fight the battle, not each other. Surgery and physio dragged. Owen in a sling, cursing PT. Jason reading Kerouac aloud in waiting rooms. Breakthrough came slow. Owen channeling frustration into design. Sketching bike frames one-handed. Jason illustrating them. Their first collab sold at auction, Levy Legacy. Fetching 5 figures for a queer youth shelter. Healing mirrored. Owen's arm strengthening. Their bed reclaiming passion. Slow. Adaptive. Owen's good hand pinning Jason's wrists. Mouths mapping scars. You're my strength, Owen breathed. And Jason believed. Bodies sinking like tides. Midlife crept sly. Jason's first gray streak. Owen's laugh lines deepening. They mentored Jason at SF State. Owen at the shop passing torches. Emily's kids called them Uncle Roadies, clamoring for stories of Big Sur ghosts. Crisis struck at 50. Jason's diagnosis, early prostate, ironic echo of Hank's. Biopsies, treatments, the word cancer a thief in their home. Owen shaved his head in solidarity, sat through chemo infusions, holding basin as Jason retched. We've beaten worse, he said, thumbing Jason's knuckles. But fear gnawed nights Jason woke sweating, convinced it was the end. What if I leave you alone? Owen's voice steel. Then I'll chase your ghost down that road. But you're fighting, babe. With me. Remission came spring bloomed. Scans clean. Celebration a Levy barbecue. Family. Friends. Bonfire roaring. Toasts to survival. Emily's twins dancing barefoot. Marco quipping immortal queens. Owen pulled Jason aside. Ring glinting new band. Etch throttle open. 40 years loving you. Best ride. Jason's tears salt-kissed Owen's lips. Endless highway. Golden years unfolded gentle. Retirement tandem. Owen consulting. Jason teaching online. Travels. Amalfi Cliffs echoing Big Sur. Tokyo neon rivaling Vegas. Home. Porch swings creaked with grandchildren's laughter. Delta's sketches mirroring Jason's. Rio wrenching with Owen. 70 found them weathered but woven, hair silver, hands veined, love's patina deep. A fall Owen's hip, Jason's steady arm, reminded fragility, but hospice talks were had with grace. Together, they vowed. Owen went first, quiet in their bed, Jason's hand in his, river song on the stereo. See you on the road, his last whisper. Jason mourned fierce, sketches unfinished, shop quiet but rose, scattering ashes at the levee, Pinky swearing to the current. Emily held him through anniversaries alone, Marco toasting to the pioneer. 80. Jason's final exhibit. Road's End. Portraits of a life. Owen's eyes. Eternal. Opening night. He spoke. Love isn't absence. It's the echo that carries you home. He slipped away in sleep. Sketchpad open to a half-drawn horizon. Owen waiting. The family gathered, grandkids, greats under oaks, rings exchanged in tribute. Marco's eulogy. They drove with hearts open. Let's follow. In the Delta's hush. Two hearts welded eternal. Betrayal forged to unbreakable bond. Mockery to melody. The road curved on, carrying their story. Humanistic hymn to love's long haul. Flawed. Fierce. Forever.